afternoon. It's the Pit Stop, your weekly racing show. This is where we look back to last weekend's racing. Of course, last weekend we had IndyCar there at the WWTR outside of St. Louis, and the Cup Series hitting Michigan, along with the NASCAR Truck Series as well. Then, of course, we look ahead to this weekend's racing. No IndyCar this week, no Truck Series this week. We got O'Reilly Series and the Cup Series racing at Pocono there in Pennsylvania this weekend. We'll look ahead to that later on in the show. Of course, we focus on IndyCar and NASCAR out there as well. I know F1 was in Monaco last weekend. Uh, Entertaining races there, but when drivers are complaining about F1 and their systems, it's just a hard thing to watch out there. Although I did enjoy that Monaco race. I'm Stephen McCollum, and join us here every week on YouTube. TME Media AZ is where you can find us on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the pages, if you will. And all of our programming here that we do, well, it's on demand on Rumble as well, including a show we do here called The Real Matrix over on Rumble. Rumble.com/user/TME Media is the page where you can find it. Right above the videos that we upload every day for our shows there's a thing that says channel. Click on that. You can find the Pit Stop. You can find the Real Matrix. You can find the main event. You can find McCollum on Business. All of our shows right there for you as well. The show's also on a free podcast system. All you got to do is search for the Pit Stop with Steven or the Pit Stop Talk. It'll come right up for you. Then, of course, don't forget, follow us on X, the Pit Stop Talk, as well as our parent company, our production company, TME Media AZ, also on X, just for updates on the show. But I'd love to communicate with you during the races and, of course, the news of the week there on X as well. So make sure you follow us there. But enough of that nonsense. Let's get right into the racing last weekend. IndyCar, of course, was over there in St. Louis, just outside of St. Louis on the Illinois side. But, of course, the WWTR track out there. And, woo, 2 rain delays during this race. Kind of takes some of the steam out of it. But getting back to the oval here is for IndyCar as well. And my guy I picked here to win at this racetrack, Josef Newgarden, gets the win. That's his 6th time in 11 starts on that track outside of St. Louis. Of course, Sunday night race as well, which was interesting to watch from that perspective also, including the 2 rain delays. The victory was Newgarden's 2nd this season. Don't forget, he also won here in March, back here at the Phoenix Oval of that NASCAR IndyCar split weekend. Josef Newgarden now has captured 15 of his 34 career victories on ovals shorter than 1.5 miles. He is the king of these types of ovals. One of the reasons why we picked him last week in this race as well. Of course, this win, a little bit more special. He's not healthy right now. He's still recovering from that lower leg injury that he suffered 2 weeks ago at the, was it 2 or 3 weeks ago here now at the Indianapolis 500. Now, he started 8th in this race, Newgarden did. He drove to the victory by 0.6613 of a second over Marcus Ericsson. He managed a season best finish here for Ericsson as well. Well, Marcus Ericsson. We got to be specific on our Ericssons. Strategy became more important as the race went on. All about the tires and the fuels out there. Well, it was due to 2 red flag periods totaling 50 minutes in this race. Lengthy red flag problems here for these guys. Alex Palou had some issues on the racetrack. Of course, championship leader, defending championship driver as well. His team made some strategy decisions with fuel. Ended up not working for him and his team. He ended up finishing 17th in this race. He also had some contact during the race. Let's check out that contact between him and Segal here. Indy 1, please.
Dixon leads the race, but is yet to stop. Behind him, this is the battle for what will be the lead when Dixon stops. Ericsson getting the toe from Ferrucci. Palou now putting the move. Oh, contact! Touch! And Siegel's into the wall. And I wonder if Palou will get a penalty for that.
That was, I mean, we'll have to see the replay. Siegel saying, I left him so much room. You see debris on the racetrack.
I don't know what that was about.
That suspension component that thing weighs about 3 pounds, and cars are going over that and taking damage to the floor.
Side by side into the corner. Contact between Siegel and Palou. Siegel says he left in the room. And you know what?
Not enough.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, or all on Siegel.
I mean, they're not wrong here as we watch the replay from the in-car here. He left him some room, but he did come down there at the end. And,
A
you know,
nasty
obviously
incident
Palau
for
probably
Nolan
didn't know
C.
he was right there still. Contact happened, and, you know, it didn't affect the Alex Palau team, but the strategy was the bigger issue for him in this race as well. Now, you know, Newgarden gets the win. Let's look at that final lap to the checker. The run for Newgarden here, Indy 2.
Back on familiar ground, Joseph Newgarden has proved the warrior that he is to bring home his 6th win in St. Louis.
Let's go!
The first of all, excitement. We saw the crowd, right? Rain delays. First red flag was what, 34 minutes, I think, totaling 50 for both of them. Late night there in that St. Louis area for these races here for the IndyCar as well. Let's throw up the finishing order of this race as well. And now we do the top 15 here on our list here on your screen. Look, there's some disappointing racing here. It is amazing how the ovals compared to the street racing is completely different here in this series. We told you Joseph Newgarden getting that #1 spot there as well, picking up 51 points in this race. Marcus Ericsson in second there with the Andretti Global team. Christian Rasmussen ends up finishing third. Then VK finishes in fourth. Scott McLaughlin, who I saw this week celebrating with the New York Knicks there in Madison Square Garden. He, of course, comes in at fifth here at Team Penske for him as well. Kyle Kirkwood, David Malakis, who's both had good seasons this year. He finished seventh. Will Power, not a good season for him with the switch here to Andretti Global. In terms of the team, Will Power does get an 8th place finish here in this race as well. Then you got Marcus Armstrong, Christian Lundgaard, Pato O'Ward, not as good of a finish. He's been flirting with that podium a lot this year. Well, in this race here, coming in 11th for him, followed by Scott Dixon. Friend of the program, Santino Ferrucci, coming in 13th. You're starting to see some momentum here for the Ferrucci team there with AJ Foyt Enterprises. Seeing them kind of move forward here and have some either close to top 10 finishes, but flirting with those top 10 finishes here with that team. Of course, Indy 500 winner Felix Rosenqvist there in 14th. And you got Grosjean there in the 15th spot. Alex Palau, as I told you, did finish 17th in this race. Led 49 laps in this race. Marcus Ericsson led 114 with his second place finish. The Joseph Newgarden led 53, where he gets the initial victory here in this race as well for them. Alexander Rossi finished 18th here. Stingray Rob there, he ended up finishing 19th in this race as well. Cal Collette, who is a rookie on the driver's side this year, AJ Foyt Enterprises, had an engine problem that took him out of this race as well. Graham Rahal, of course, Siegel in that accident, as you just saw, knocked out of that race in lap 53 as well for him. Let's throw up the updated championship points here with Alex Palau finishing 17th in this race. Of course, new winner here with Joseph Newgarden. Kyle Kirkwood had a good day. David Malakis did as well. Well, they're closing the gap here against Alex here in that first spot, but still a big gap here between Palau running away with the championship standings. Kyle Kirkwood, David Malakis, Christian Lundgaard, Pato O'Ward hanging on to that 5th place finish or 5th place standing here on the championship standings for him as well. Kyle Kirkwood and David Malakis are having a fantastic season. It just goes to show you, you win races like Alex has done out there, you get those big point jumps. So you got to start winning some races here for these guys moving forward to compete and win the championship. Ratings for this event, well, they were down partially because of the rain delay, late night racing as well with those long delays. They got 945,000 viewers for Sunday night's weather-impacted IndyCar race. Of course, all this racing for IndyCar is on Fox as well. Last year's race, which ran on time, no delays, it got 1.012 million viewers last year. Well, next up for IndyCar, well, we're not going to talk about them later in the program. They have an off week coming up. Then they go to Road America here in a couple weeks on June 21st. Another road course coming up. Just to give you a preview here, last race of the June month will be in a couple weeks there, that June 21st at Road America. So road course coming up. Then they don't race again until July 4th weekend, which is July 5th, Mid-Ohio. Then you get that Nashville Oval coming up middle of June as well, July as well. So 3 races here for June 21st, July 5th, July 19th coming up here. Only 3 races here over that month time frame. Then it picks up again in August. Big, busy August for IndyCar as well. And then they finish their season up at Laguna Seca there in early September. So got to make some moves here if you want to catch Alex Palou there for those championship racing points and win a championship in the IndyCar circuit. Then, of course, over the weekend, that was Sunday night racing under the lights. Well, NASCAR Truck and Cup Series was at Michigan last weekend. Kind of a schedule change. I like watching the truck races on Saturday. Like I said, I kind of get accustomed to watching them. Get off of work here on the West Coast here. We record this show in Phoenix, but I call it the West Coast because of the time frame. But we sit here and we get done on a Friday. We go home, 2:45 our time, truck races going. I did like waking up and seeing these guys run on a Saturday morning. Of course, it was the Truck and Cup Series at Michigan. O'Reilly Series was off as well. So let's look back at the Truck Series that raced on Saturday. And not a shocker here. Corey Heim, who's running kind of part-time in the Cup Series this year. Well, he comes down into that Truck Series, where, of course, where he dominated last year. Came down and gets the win there as well as a part-time Truck Series driver. He held off a dramatic checkered flag race here. Lap traffic was there. His teammate, Caden Honeycutt, who, if you don't know, we've adopted as our favorite truck driver this year. He held him off there at the end, his teammates, and Corey Heim claimed his first career win in Michigan. Now, it's not his first win. As we all know, he dominated this circuit last year. 26th career victory for him. First ever, though, on that 2-mile Michigan Oval. So it gives him a series win now on 22 different tracks for the Truck Series. Now, that is second best all time, right? That's a lot. Yeah, NASCAR Hall of Famer Ron Hornaday Jr., he won at 31 different tracks in this Truck Series. It's Heim's third win in only 5 truck starts this season. He's got a few more truck races coming up later on as well, as he's right back to his dominating fashion when he steps into that Truck Series racing team as well. The most dominant truck on the racing day on Saturday, that was driven by the Carson Hocevar out there, which obviously coming down from the Cup Series and runs a lot of truck races. With 15 laps remaining, Corey Heim did pass him, and then he crossed the line about 0.065 seconds ahead of his teammate there, Honeycutt, as well, Caden Honeycutt, from the Tricorn Garage. Carson Hocevar had the best car out there. He ran into some handling issues, some debris issues getting into his grill. Was not able to keep that lead as Corey Heim does pass him there late into that race with about 15 laps to go. The final lap was exciting. It was a battle out there. Caden Honeycutt, though, not able to beat his teammate, finishes second again. But let's show you the final lap here, Truck 1.
White flag in the air, 1 to go in Michigan. It's Heim and Honeycutt. Honeycutt to the bottom. Heim blocks him, try the outside as well.
There was contact there. That was some great blocking there by Heim.
Corey Heim making that number 1 truck very wide here as they head down the backstretch for the final time.
I think he's been his left front fender with that little bit of contact. I think Caden did a wonderful job putting it to the outside, but it's not going to work.
One more time through 3 and 4. Corey Heim in the 1. Honeycutt in the 11. For Tricon Garage.
He's coming.
It's Heim and Honeycutt at the line, and it's Corey Heim taking the checkered flag here at Michigan.
And you
in
saw some
dramatic
lap
fashion.
traffic there kind of mucking that race up as well from that point. Look, that was a fantastic end of the race there as they pulled away. Caden Honeycutt finishing second again. We've talked about him. Yeah, gosh, right before he got his first win of this season. He got second place finish, was dejected there in the interview. And I said he's going to get some wins this year. Ends up getting a win the following week, but right back to the second place. Pay attention. I know they're off this week and they don't race again until next week when they go to San Diego in the Truck Series. But pay attention to Caden Honeycutt. Last time this happened to him, he won the next week out there. Let's check with Corey Heim here after the race. Truck 2.
Yeah, I appreciate the help from the 11 and the 62 all day to kind of get us away from the pack. I thought we had the 3 or 4 best trucks running up front. So they did a nice job getting us out front. We kind of discussed that pre-race, and then we're going to race it out at the end, and that's what we did, you know. He tried to get to my right rear there, which would have probably won the race, and I had to protect it, you know. So props to Caden, props to Christopher. I don't know where he ended up, but he was helping me really good all day. So first win with the Celsius as our primary. We've had a good relationship with them over the past couple years. Obviously not the best run at Bristol a couple weeks ago in the truck, but came back and got redemption. So just so grateful for Celsius and those guys, Tricon, TRD Toyota, 2311 for letting me come and do this as well. Tense couple laps here at the end, but that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he referenced Christopher there. Didn't know where he finished. He was talking about Christopher Bell here in this race coming down and racing in the Truck Series. Ended up finishing 6th there, he did. Christopher Bell led 37 laps in this race. Corey Heim led 15 there at the end, of course, for him. Caden Honeycutt only led 1, and he got that. Another second-place finish for Caden Honeycutt. He's become one of my favorite drivers here in this circuit. So let's check in with him. He's usually dejected in a second-place finish. Let's see how he is here. Truck 3.
I don't know, but I just want to thank Tricon, Sol 11 team, Safe Flight. Scott Zabelli did a great job in getting adjustments all day, had a really good restart to get us up there in the contention after all the strategy and stuff kicked in. But yeah, it's yeah, we got stuff to clean up on our end for sure. So just going to leave it at that. But other than that, it was a good race there at the end. Us 5 up there, that was a really good race. I'm sure that was a good race for the fans. So that was good. It was unfortunate they didn't get to win there. I've just felt like I've just lost too many of them on myself and my part. So I think that's what that gets me the most for sure. But yeah, thanks to the whole crew. Did a great job. Picker did a great job all day making adjustments and being fast as they always are.
I mean, it's amazing. I love the competitive fire of Caden Honeycutt. That's kind of why we've adopted him here in this Truck Series. The other thing about it is he's losing to drivers that are more experienced than him right now, right? Corey Heim, he just lost to in this race. Earlier, he lost to a Cup Series guy that had come down as well. He loses to these guys here when he's in these finished seconds. He's going to get there, and he's got a couple victories this year. They're going to continue to come. I love that fire. He just does not settle for second place there as well. Carson Hocevar, as I told you, was the best trucker in the day. Finishes 3rd. 65 laps led for him. Throw up the finishing order. Truck number 4. So we know Corey Heim, Caden Honeycutt, 1 and 2. Carson Hocevar there in 3rd. 65. I saw him after the race. He was just sitting on the wall looking dejected. That was his race to win. But again, handling problems. Debris got on his grill, which stops the airflow and slows down those cars, and just not competitive there at the end after Corey Heim takes the lead there with about 15 to go. Chandler Smith, Christopher Bell, as I told you, coming down to this series, 6th place finish. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. also coming down from the Cup Series, finished 7th. Connor Mozak, Jake Garcia, Tyler Ankrum are your top 10 as well. So some big names we haven't mentioned here that are in trying for playoff hunts here in the Truck Series. 11th was Grant Effinger, Gio Ruggiero in 12th, Daniel Hemrick in 13th here as well. Brendan Queen coming down and running this Truck Series at 14th spot. Daniel Dye, Parker Klingerman as well, racing. Tanner Gray, 18th here. Ben Rhodes, 21st. Stuart Friesen, 22nd. Frankie Muniz coming in with a 23rd place victory for him. That's a really good victory for him as well out there. So you see some bigger names down toward the bottom. Christian Eckes there, 32nd. He was running here at the end, only completed 119 laps. but 32nd place finish for him as well. Ty Majeski, 35th, left that race. I think it was lap 86, 87 time frame with an accident for him as well. So some shakeup here in the championship points. Let's throw that up here with truck 5, please. As some guys finishing down toward the end. There's plenty of room to make up here. 12 of 18. Going to have some off weeks coming up, like this weekend. Truck Series is off before that street race there in San Diego at the Naval Base coming up the following weekend. But Lane Riggs still leading this. 497 points for him. Caden Honeycutt second there, 471 with his second place finish in this race. Chandler Smith had a great race here this weekend as he finished fifth here in Michigan. It's still in that third place spot. Gio Ruggiero, Christian Eckes, Ben Rhodes, Ty Majeski, Tyler Ingram, Daniel Hemrick, and Jake Garcia wrap out the playoff guys in those 10 spots. Right now, at the bottom of this wreck, Daniel Hemrick, Jake Garcia are 9 points above the cut line. They're in a tie there with Stuart Friesen, who did not have a great day in Michigan. He's 9 points outside looking in. Grant Effinger, well, he's 22 points out. Brendan Queen, he's still in striking distance, but he is going the wrong way here with 36 points out. Justin Haley, and then Andres Perez de Laura going the opposite direction they need to go to here as well. Interesting here is I do think Stuart Friesen, as well as Tyler Ankrum, do get into that playoff run. So who's going to get knocked out here over the next several races? And going into, they're off this weekend, then into the naval race there in San Diego next weekend. Unfamiliar track, first time ever racing there. Road course, a lot of hype around it. It'll be interesting to see kind of who steps up here in the Truck Series in San Diego next weekend after their week off. Because 6 consecutive races is a lot for the Truck Series. So they get that off week here, and then June 19th, they're going to race in that inaugural Truck Series race there at San Diego at the Naval Base Coronado. I'm looking forward to that racing over there. It's just a different change here and a different format on a new track over there as well. So no O'Reilly racing there at Michigan. They were off. Get back underway this weekend at Pocono. We'll talk about that coming up. But obviously the Cup Series was ready to take on that 2-mile Michigan track. And the Michigan track is one of, if not the fastest track on the track season here for NASCAR, especially on the Cup side. It is amazing to watch these guys run. I like the Michigan track a lot to watch that as well. And it shouldn't surprise you at all. Denny Hamlin's been running really well. He's really fast. And he pulled off an amazing run here in Michigan. He won the pole, but had to start in the rear because they did some changes to his car. That doesn't matter. I'll start at the back. And I'll go on and I'll claim the checkered flag at the same time. Second consecutive and fourth overall trophy in Michigan as well. This Hamlin, the other significance here, Hamlin's 63rd career win. Ironically enough, that's tying him with, of course, Kyle Busch, who just left us a couple weeks ago. Yeah, 9th place on the NASCAR Cup Series all-times list. He took the number 8 flag after he won, did the bow, of course, did an extended burnout like Kyle Busch used to do. Lots of tributes there as he got up and tied him with this victory. For Hamlin, this win was his 3rd of the year, 2nd consecutive last to first efforts in as many weeks. Yeah, Denny Hamlin's like, that's cool. I'll win the pole. I'll still start last. I'll go win this thing. Yeah, it's an amazing thing he does here these last couple of weeks. And he's just relaxed. I don't even know if you've noticed it. We've talked about it a lot here. Like all the pressure went off of him. He realized that it's just racing with all of his off-season tragedies that he had there and issues with the lawsuit. And then, of course, his parents' fire where he lost his dad and everything. It's just he's a different guy this year. And it's made him a really, really good driver. And he was already one of the best out there as well. Now, it wasn't all easy for him. You know, they won the pole, but they had to do some changes to the car after qualifying, has to go to the rear. And then that opening stage was not good for the Hamlin team there at number 11 Toyota. They only ran about 20th to 30th place early. They were just going backwards, going forward a little bit, headed straight backwards again. But working with his team there, of course, they made adjustments all day throughout the race. And he got up to the top 5 in running here by lap 140 here of this race. Of course, being a 200 lap race as well. He started challenging for the front spot after that, and you could tell he was in this to win it once he got up to that front on those last couple of stages. He led 40 laps in this race, including the final 39 laps. And not only that, he dominated those last 39 laps. He pulled away to an 11.110 second win over Eric Jones. Nobody's even in the vicinity of him when he gets to that front. It's just a message of patience and perseverance and not getting frustrated out there. This is what I like about Denny Hamlin this year. A lot of drivers would have showed their frustrations early, starting in the back. It would have pronounced itself as they had those issues in the first stage as well, where they weren't getting any positive gain. Hamlin just takes it in strides and just works his way up there as well. Let's check in with Denny Hamlin after the race and just see how relaxed he is as he's talking here. Cup 1.
This Joe Gibbs team just keeps giving me amazing race cars. National Debt Toyota was just amazing, and at the last run there, it just hammered down. Had a few good restarts, and then once we got to the lead, I was gonna leg it out all I had.
Denny, we know the significance of the 63 wins for you, but can you even explain what this means with the last couple of weeks?
No, I mean, the off season, it was rough for me. It was rough for the NASCAR family. We lost a lot of people. This week we lost Gentleman Ned, the original badass of the 11. We're still thinking of Kyle, Samantha, Brexton, Lennox. It's just an unbelievable feeling to be able to strap in every week, and I don't take it for granted. This opportunity that I'm in, I just love we're making the best of it.
I mean, it just it's a different race car driver this year, and it's just showing here with the way he's running on the racetrack. This race had a record 11 caution flags. There was a 20-minute red flag we'll talk about here coming up as well, but all about incidents, accidents throughout the afternoon here at Michigan. Half the field at some degree was involved in an accident here this weekend at Michigan as well. The stoppages, of course, slowed down the race. But what it also did was for strategy sides, it allowed drivers to save enough fuel, especially late in this race, so they can make that run for the checkered flag without losing positions on extra stops. The big battle here was Denny Hamlin ran away with this race. The big battle was for second, third, fourth, fifth spot here in this race as well. Allowed guys to finish better in this race by not having to worry about fuel with those yellows and ultimately that red flag, of course, we'll talk about coming up here in a minute between Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott as well. Let's throw up the finish order here of this race as well. Cup 2, please. Well, I mean, we told you, Denny Hamlin continuing his incredible run. Led 40 laps, the last 39 as he ran away with this race. Eric Jones finished second here. Bubba Wallace with a fantastic finish. I like the way Bubba Wallace ran the first 5-6 races roughly this season. He's just fallen off here lately as well. Well, he's back up there, top 3 spots, led 9 laps in this race as well. Then Kyle Larson, Carson Hocevar as well here in fourth and fifth, excuse me. Daniel Suarez in 6th, and Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, those Penske teammates and Fords get there at 7th and 8th spot. Chris Buescher in 9th. Chase Briscoe in 10th here as well. Then you go down this in terms of guys on the playoff side. Josh Berry, we'll talk about him. He's making news right now as well this week. Ross Chastain, 16th as well. Alex Bowman, 19th. Alex Bowman, and William Byron right before him in 18th as well. Alex Bowman to me is somebody that is going to have some question marks on his right here. Maybe not at the end of this year, but definitely with his health and everything moving forward as well. There's a 9-car, chain reaction wreck early in the race. Well, it eliminated championship leader Tyler Reddick, right? The guy who dominated the beginning of the season, took him out of this race early here. That was on lap 82, 83 time frame right there for him. It's his first DNF of the season. That's how well, and now he hasn't been winning lately, but that is how well Tyler Reddick and that 2311 team have been running this year. But his first DNF of the season. Then there was that other dramatic incident there as well. Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, 51 laps to go. This is the one that caused that red flag that happened. 20-minute red flag to repair the track wall. That's how hard Christopher Bell hit the wall as well here. Connor Zillich, by the way, was dead last in this race. Tyler Reddick finished 35th. Brett Keselowski 34th in the accident as well. Chase Elliott was involved in that accident with Christopher Bell. We'll show you that in just a minute. The Christopher Bell finished 31st. Chase Elliott 32nd. SVG, by the way, also in that accident. Not that one, but the one before. SVG finished 30th. After starting to get his oval runs back, where he was having some good oval runs, finishing a 30th as well. So we told you about Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott. Well, let's look at this incident here. These guys are racing hard. They make some contact, and Christopher Bell hard into that outside wall. Here we go, Cup 3.
Yeah, they're racing side by side down into turn 3, and looks like Chase has a little bit of a bobble, big moment, and he just gets a little bit loose underneath the 20, and correcting the car, makes contact. And it sends Christopher Bell
We get the
hard into
inside view
outside
now.
wall.
Just a violent hit for both drivers.
That was Elliott's car there that they showed the in car of. I mean, to see cars take a right and go parallel or perpendicular into the wall, excuse me, I mean, that is just
I want to give
crazy
NASCAR a
hit
ton of
there.
credit. All the safety inside the cars, the
And
headrests.
how Chase Elliott doesn't get hit as he's going down that racetrack is another amazing
What an
factor.
exchange.
And I wanted to show you guys after the race there. I mean, Chase Elliott after the race did say, "Look, that was my fault." You know, he took a quick right turn to take out Bell there as well. Checked on him there on the racetrack, and then we find out Christopher Bell sustained the hardest crash impact of the next gen era when his car went up into that turn 4 wall there on Sunday. They have all the technology. They won't tell us what the numbers are on it because they consider that proprietary information, but they did tell us it was the hardest hit in these next gen cars. We get this information from the latest episode of the Hauler Talk podcast. Mike Forty, the NASCAR Vice President of Racing Communications, he confirmed that the Delta V, I know you math majors out there know what I'm about to say, but the Delta V measures the change in velocity. So basically, how fast you're going to how fast you stop is what that number means. It was the largest number recorded since the next gen made its debut back in 2022. According to the NASCAR managing director of safety systems, that's also the hardest recorded hit in at least a decade in these cars. You don't see wrecks like that too often these days with all the safety and the way these guys drive out there. Now, Bell and, of course, Chase Elliott were evaluated. You saw them both get out of the car and be able to walk away from it. Bell was evaluated and eventually released from the Infield Care Center. Then, of course, he returned to North Carolina after the race, like all the drivers do. He got some more x-rays done there, and the x-rays did confirm a left wrist fracture from that hard hit against the wall. Now, how's that going to affect Christopher Bell moving forward? Well, inside the car, we'll have to wait and see, but he has been medically cleared to compete. He, of course, will run this weekend at Pocono Raceway. Christopher Bell will after that hit. So no head injuries, at least, no concussions, just a broken left wrist, obviously soreness and things after that large hit. But that was a scary thing. You can go and actually watch the in-car there where his spotter's talking to him. And you could tell the spotter is deeply concerned as they're the ones that, are talking to him and to find out if they're okay and things to that effect. It was that hard of a hit where there were some serious concerns there for a little bit. Let's throw up Cup 4 here. That's the championship points after this race. Tyler Reddick still continuing his lead, but that lead is shrinking. Denny Hamlin making a run here with these wins and the way he's running right now. He is not too far behind Tyler Reddick here. Ryan Blaney is still in third. Chase Elliott fourth. Ty Gibbs in 5th, Kyle Larson in 6th. Then you got Carson Hocevar, Chris Buescher, who Chris Buescher's quietly staying in this mid pack here of the playoff championship points here. Then you got Daniel Suarez in 9th, Christopher Bell in 10th, Bubba Wallace in 11th, William Byron, Chase Briscoe, Shane Van Gisbergen. He needs some good oval finishes here because he's going to do well on the road courses. Those oval finishes, in order for him to get in, he's starting. I know he had struggled a little this week, but he's starting to get some more of those top 10, 15 finishes that he had earlier this year on some ovals. Then you got the other RFK driver, Brad Keselowski, there in 15th, and Austin Cindric there in 16th in the inside the playoff bubble. Now, Austin Cindric is only 3 points ahead of it. Joey Logano made up some space here. He's still on the outside looking in, Joey Logano is. I do think giant Joey Logano, of the 4 guys you see listed, 17th through 20th outside the top 16, I do think Joey Logano gets his way into the playoffs. He's too good of a driver to not have some success to get there. So who's that going to knock out? Could be SVG. Austin Cindric could get knocked out as well. Chase Briscoe could have a little bit of a fall coming up. So I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch here, but Eric Jones with his second place finish is only 18 points out. Ryan Preece, Michael McDonald. Michael McDonald in that 20th spot, and everybody below that are starting to put some distance here. They're make-upable points, don't get me wrong, but you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself coming up unless you wake up. And don't forget, Amazon Prime is where you can find Prime Videos, where you can find the NASCAR races here. A couple more to go before it switches over to TNT out there. And of course, we get all of our video here for the Cup Series that you've seen from Prime Video. But Prime Video averaged 2.07 million viewers for the race there in Michigan. Yeah, this is all according to Nielsen's big data plus panel figures, all reported by the Sports Business Journal. Adam Stern is the one that puts that out. The audience was up 17 points from the comparable Michigan race last year in 2025. That drew 1.77 million viewers. Michigan's 2.07 million viewers does represent Prime Video's second largest NASCAR audience of the season. The Coca-Cola 600 ended up having 3.06 million and is the leader in that side. Nashville, not too far behind where Michigan ended up at, 2.01 million. So big numbers for Prime Video, and Prime Video brings NASCAR a younger crowd as well. A lot younger crowd out there. So it is an interesting thing. So Cup Series ends up going to Pocono this weekend. And when we come back here on the pit stop, well, we'll look into the news around the sport of racing. A couple drivers getting some news here. One about a week and a half ago. We'll just update you on since he won that truck series. Of course, big news on the we're starting to see some movement here on drivers on the Cup Series. We'll tell you about that. And then we'll look ahead to this weekend in racing. Got to go to Pocono for the O'Reilly and Cup Series, Truck Series, and IndyCar off this weekend. So come on back. It's the pit stop. back to the pit stop. You can find us on demand here on YouTube. TME Media AZ is the parent company of our production side of things. Check that out, of course, over on Rumble as well. Rumble.com/user/TME Media. McCollum on Business, the main event with me and 17-year NFL veteran Dale Hillestray. The main event live 8 to 10 here, along with McCollum on Business, live at 7 a.m. here on YouTube. Everything gets put up on demand as well. After that's where you can find this show as well, only on demand here for this show. Of course, we have a show called The Real Matrix that comes out on Fridays with the Angry Patriot. Well, that's only over on Rumble and the free podcast systems out there, along with this show. And main event, this show, all have their own podcasts out there on the free podcast system. So Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Podchaser, whatever you listen to your podcast, just search the Pit Stop with Steven or the Pit Stop Talk. It'll come right up for you as well. Join us on X. Join us, follow us at the Pit Stop Talk, and also follow the production company, TME Media AZ, on X also. We'd greatly appreciate it. Like and subscribe to the YouTube page. Every week we get a show up there on the Pit Stop, plus a bunch of other shows and some smaller shows coming up as well there. That'll go straight to YouTube and Rumble as well out there. Now let's get into the news around racing here as tickets are officially on sale for the 2027 Daytona 500. Get in on them early. They went on sale this week. Do not delay. They do sell out pretty quickly. Do not wait until the end of the year. You're going to get bad choices. There's usually tickets available, but you're going to get bad choices. Something you've always wanted to do. Get your tickets now as they're officially on sale. Other news around racing, Corey Heim. Well, he just won the truck race, right, at Michigan. Well, same week that he won that last weekend, well, they announced that he will be joining 2311 Racing Organization in the NASCAR Cup Series full-time in 2027. He'll race in the 2311 number 35 car coming up next year. This year, he's doing just part-time racing in the Cup Series for 2311. Doing a third car here coming up, and Corey Heim, full-time Cup driver next year. And you get the news about one driver getting a chance in a ride. Well, we also got news this week. Josh Berry is going to be out at Wood Brothers after this season. His quote was, "You never know what kind of opportunities come about and where it goes from here." Says, "I've been extremely fortunate to get the opportunities that I've had and been extremely fortunate to drive for Wood Brothers and this team," unquote. Barry did say he's open to exploring any opportunities that may become available. He believes his performance behind the wheel remains unchanged. He did admit the news is difficult to process. He says he's determined to move forward, and Josh Berry's won some races. Josh Berry's had some good finishes. Wood Brothers is one of those teams that doesn't compete with the big boys out there. I do like Josh Berry as a driver. I'd like to see him in some better equipment, see what he can do out there. But Josh Berry out of that field. And I saw some rumors here. Jesse Love might get a chance with Wood Brothers next year, among a couple other drivers kind of rumored. So have to pay attention who gets that Wood Brothers ride coming up as well. And then, of course, we talked earlier, right? Denny Hamlin just tied Kyle Busch, who, of course, left us here on this planet a couple weeks ago. Well, he has that brother out there, Kurt Busch, as well. Some tribute still happening. His dad was able to drive a car this week there in Las Vegas. They did some tributes to Kyle Busch. Well, Kurt Busch, shared his first public comments since the death of his brother. Well, he's posting a lengthy message on social media this week. In the post, there's a lengthy message and all, and I wouldn't do it justice reading it. So I know he did it on Facebook. I'm not sure if it went out on other platforms as well, but Kurt Busch reflected on his relationship with his brother, both on and off the track. He wrote about the memories they shared growing up and throughout their NASCAR careers. Kurt Busch also thanked fans for the support and expressed gratitude for the tributes that have been shared in the days since Kyle's passing as well. So, touching tribute, first public comments there by Kurt Busch as well. Both of them grew up in the Las Vegas area and then, of course, into the NASCAR circuit. Well, and now, no easy transition here, but let's look ahead to this weekend's racing coming up. Told you already, IndyCar is off. They have an off week, and then big road course coming up next weekend, Road America as well. And then the Truck Series will get back underway. Not this weekend, off for them. They'll get back underway, and all three series racing in San Diego next week with that inaugural series there on the naval base there at Coronado in San Diego. But that means we have the NASCAR O'Reilly and the Cup Series. They're going racing this weekend in Pennsylvania. They're going racing at Pocono, and Pocono is not a small racetrack. The 2.5 mile asphalt paved tri-oval. They call it a triangle, basically, is what you should think of if you've never seen this track. Well, the O'Reilly Series, well, it was off last weekend. So let's remind you of where we stand here with championship standings in that O'Reilly Series. O'Reilly won, please, in championship points. Justin Allgaier's running away with this series right now, 770 points in number one. Jesse Love there, 591 points in that second spot. Corey Day, Sheldon Creed, Brandon Jones, Austin Hill, Carson Quapple, Sammy Smith, William Solwich, Parker Retzlaff, Sam Mayer, Taylor Gray coming in that 12th and final spot. Taylor Gray's 12 points ahead of that cut line. Raja Karuth, who's starting to come into his own, right, with his racing here in his last race there in Nashville. Well, the Roger Caruth is 12 points outside looking in here. And that Brent Cruz, my favorite young driver out there that I'm paying attention to in this series, 15 points out for him. Then you got Ryan Sieg and Brendan Poole, 90 points out. Basically, now Brendan Poole and some other drivers, they can work their way in, but they've made it hard for themselves to do it. We basically have three guys outside that need to make some moves here to bump in to the championship 12 or the playoff 12 or knock some guys out and see what they can knock out at that point here in the O'Reilly Series. There's your update for you, but this weekend in the O'Reilly Series, Pocono Raceway, Saturday's racing, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, which means 1 p.m. over here in our West Coast. Of course, the O'Reilly Series always happens on the CW here in the NASCAR world. Practice will be Saturday, 10:30 to 11:20 a.m. Eastern. So wake up and catch some racing, 7:30 to 8:20 a.m. here in the West Coast. Qualifying will be right after that, 11:35 to 12:30 p.m. There in now 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Let me clarify that for qualifying, which means 8:35 to 9:30 a.m. out here in the Phoenix and West Coast time zones. Now, after the week off, here's the big question going into Pocono: long track, speed, pit stops, green flag pit stops, watching your fuel and your tires is going to be the big question going into this. Which teams are coming in refreshed and ready to go? Who comes in a little rusty or who comes in a little hesitant after enjoying their week off? They don't get too many of them out there. Connor Zilic is coming down from the Cup Series. He's going to run in the O'Reilly Series this weekend at Pocono. And he's the defending winner at Pocono as well. He's got a lot of speed here. He won this race last year. His first oval win last year at Pocono. 2.5 miles means you get some leeway, some speed out there, which we know he can be fast. But it gives you some leeway here going forward with some strategy. You can be up there in the front if you are a fast car. So Connor Zilic is kind of a favorite to win this. You know, Justin Allgaier is always a favorite on tracks requiring speed and to stay up in the front with his experience. He's also coming in very hot as a driver into this race. Did the off week cool him down a little bit as well? Cole Custer's somebody to pay attention to. He's coming down into this O'Reilly race. He's won at Pocono twice in this series, and he runs this racetrack really well. He's coming down from the Cup Series. William Byron, Ross Chastain, the two other guys coming down into this race. William Byron will be fast here as well. Ross Chastain, I don't know which Ross Chastain is going to show up here for this race here. 2.5 mile triangle racetrack. William Byron will be fast here as well. We don't generally pick a Cup winner, a Cup driver to win this race. We just assume one of them will, and we try to pick the best O'Reilly Series driver that could win this racetrack. But I can tell you this, a Cup driver racing in this O'Reilly race this weekend at Pocono, it's a 2.5 mile track. A Cup driver is going to win this race. Yeah. You still have Jesse Love, Sheldon Creed. They will have speed. They're just not. I don't think they're going to be able to compete with a Cup Series driver here on this mile track. The one guy that there's a Cup Series driver this year, he won it last year. I think Connor Zilic is going to come down here and show he can still win in these types of environments. I do think Connor Zilic is going to win this race and repeat his victory from last year. It was his first win on the oval ever. He wants to do it again. I think the length of this track works in his favor to outrun his other Cup counterparts coming down, and also the Cup drivers. I will tell you this, though. The highest placing O'Reilly Series regular driver, I think it's going to be Jesse Love this weekend, not Justin Allgaier. I think Jesse Love's going to have some speed. There's a there's a car open there with Wood Brothers. That means other cars are going to be opening up as well. I think Jesse Love wants to prove he deserves a chance up at the Cup Series. He doesn't really need to prove that. I think in his mind he's going to come in here and he's going to have a great race at Pocono. Probably be in contention to win the whole thing. I do think he will be the highest placing O'Reilly Series driver in this race as well. Then the other race this weekend to look forward to is on Sunday, of course, the Cup Series there at Pocono. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, which means noon for those of us here on the West Coast. Green flag, we'll be around 3:21 Eastern, 12:21 p.m. our time out here. Obviously, we're still in the middle of the Amazon Prime racing circuit. I think this race and one more, I believe, is what it is on Amazon Prime before it moves to, unfortunately, TNT coming up. Practice and qualifying will be on Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, which, of course, 10 to noon here as well. All race practice and qualifying happens on Amazon Prime this year, even when it's not on Amazon Prime at all. So going into this race, Denny Hamlin just won at Michigan, back to front. He just won the week before as well, in the rear to the front, won there as well. So it should be no surprise Denny Hamlin's the favorite to win this race, just with the way he's been running lately. He's coming in off 2 victories, like I said, last to first. He's the hottest driver right now on the Cup circuit. And I've mentioned this several times just in this episode, let alone in previous ones. He's just relaxed. He's having success. He's relaxed. He's not letting things get to him. The tragedies he had in the offseason, what they're going through this year with obviously Kyle Busch, an old teammate of his, and, 2 other things happening around his family, etc. Eddie Hamlin, it just feels to me like just the weight's off of him. Let's just go run. There's more important things than racing. I like to race, but I'm not going to stress about the small things. That's kind of how I feel Denny Hamlin is running this year as well. I love the way he's been running out there. It's hard not to keep rolling with him, though, right? With this momentum. So you take all of that stuff into consideration, and then you find out he dominates at Pocono as well. That just puts him into the bigger favorite. So I just told you all the reasons I love him in this race. Am I going to pick him, though? They're going to continue. And then you add on, he dominates this racetrack. Got some stats coming up for you to put your mind at ease at how good he is here in Pocono. Tyler Reddick, some other guys you should pay attention to. Tyler Reddick, he got his first DNF last weekend at Michigan. He was involved in that wreck. Wasn't his fault out there. Can he put that aside? Can he have a good weekend again this weekend? His teammate, Bubba Wallace, great run, finished 3rd at Michigan. Does that momentum continue? Does he get back on track here? No pun intended. Here this weekend at Pocono. Hendricks Motorsports, they have the speed to finish up front from William Byron to Kyle Larson to Chase Elliott. Do they have the ability to be up there? They have the speed, but can they finish up in the front? Are the RFK drivers, Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, are they able to find speed in the Fords to get up to the front? I do think Fords might struggle here with this 2.5 mile in terms of the entire race. Doesn't mean they're going to go out and lead 200 laps or something to that effect. But can they be there at the end? I think a couple Fords can be out there. I have not been impressed with the Penske drivers and the way they've been running lately. I'm talking about Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano going into this weekend. I don't think if they win this race or compete at the end, I think they're going to, that kind of stamina here with a 2.5 mile race, strategy wise, will be there in the front. They're not just going to outright race to that front. The big question is, because I like Christopher Bell in this race as well, normally, I think highly of him in this 2.5 mile track. How will he run this weekend, though? Broken left wrist going into the race car, which is hard enough to adjust to, but also mentality wise, how's his body feeling after that hard hit in the wall last week? To the point where they had to shut down the race for 20 minutes to repair the wall on top of it. Mentally, is he going to be as aggressive out there? Is he going to go out there and just be content racing around the racetrack and just protecting himself this week as he comes back from that big hit last week? Christopher Bell's an interesting watch this week. I'm not saying he's going to purposely go backwards. I think he's going to try to compete this weekend, but you just don't know until you get into that car if you race the same way or if you lay off just a little bit out there. I told you I gave you all the reasons for Denny Hamlin, and then I added on he dominates this racetrack. Active Pocono active drivers in NASCAR that have won the pole at Pocono. Denny Hamlin has 5 total poles here. Now, we only really look at 2020 on here on this program, but he did win it twice in 2006. He won 2014 pole, but he won the pole in 2022 and 2025. William Byron run the pole here in 2023. He did win it back in 2019, kind of that borderline of what we look at as well. Joey Logano, well, he's won a couple here, but those were back in 2011, 2012. Not really counting him on that. Ty Gibbs, though, Joe Gibbs Racing and Ty Gibbs, 2024, he won the pole here at Pocono as well. Those are the active drivers that have won poles. Pay attention to what the speed is and how guys race. Denny Hamlin very well could come in and win the pole this weekend again, just like he did in Michigan. If you're fast in Michigan, you're probably going to be fast here at Pocono as well. Something to keep an eye on. Then you want to talk active Pocono winners. Guys racing right now that have won Pocono. Denny Hamlin, 7 total wins here. Now, like I said, some races before the 2020 timeframe. He did win in 2020 and 2023. Those are his last 2, most recent 2. Before that, 2019, 2010, 2009, 2006. Sweep is what he did. Denny Hamlin, I looked at some odds here as well on the gambling sites. Denny Hamlin's a plus 250 on average favorite going into this weekend. The next driver is Kyle Larson. He's plus 750. That's how big of a favorite Denny Hamlin is going into this race. Ryan Blaney's run this race 2 times. Most recently, 2024. I just don't like the way that he's running right now. Just as a whole. But he could be there at the end. He's not going to run up front all day long. Might be mid-pack most of the race. Sneak up there at the end and snatch a victory. Chase Briscoe won this race in 2025. Chase Briscoe is a dark horse to win this race here at Pocono. Chase Elliott won this race in 2022. Going to be up there. There's something off with his Hendrick cars here this year. Doesn't mean Chase Elliott won't win. It doesn't have a chance to. It's not somebody that you'd stick your neck out to win a race here. Alex Bowman won this race in 2021. I think he's got 0 chance to win this thing. It's just don't like the juju around that team at all. Chris Buescher won this race, but only not back till 2016. Chris Buescher will be fast, though, this weekend. Can he be up there in the front and sneak out a win? Joey Logano, he's won a couple poles a long time ago, 2011, 2012. Well, in 2012, he also won this race. His only victory here. Again, not sold on that. Chris Buescher's teammate, right, and owner at RFK. Brad Keselowski, 2011 was the last time he won here as well. I don't really think he can be up there and have a top 5 or top 10 finish. I just don't think he's going to get there till the end on that side. My whole point of this exercise is to tell you guys, Denny Hamlin dominates at this racetrack. And on top of it, he's coming in super hot. You expect that momentum to continue, right? I do not like, folks, as you know, do not like to put my money and tell you a driver is going to win again. Victory multiple weeks in a row. But you just cannot deny what Denny Hamlin has been doing. Tyler Reddick is slowly, like he's had good races, his first DNF, and he's finishing top 5, top 10. He's not getting over that hump yet. You know who is? Denny Hamlin in that team. Consistent and easily getting up there and doing it. I'm just going to ride Denny Hamlin for another week here. Hamlin, another victory for him. Pass into that ninth spot there on the all-time winning list there ahead of Kyle Busch this weekend. You can't go against him. There's so many question marks for all the other drivers out there. For Hamlin not to win this, just something bad has to happen. The way they've been running. Everybody else has question marks. Denny Hamlin winning this race. Hey, I appreciate you guys joining me here for the pit stop this week. Don't forget TME Media AZ on YouTube. Like and follow us there as well. Of course, over on Rumble, for those of you that don't like YouTube, yes, we've heard you and your voice out there. That's where we had to put the Real Matrix Anyhouse. We put everything on demand at Rumble, rumble.com/user/TME Media. We'll be back next week. Of course, look back here at Pocono. Look ahead to the Naval Base race there over in San Diego next weekend. All three series of NASCAR racing that street course around Coronado Island next weekend. It's going to be a fun inaugural race down there. It's kind of a special race as well. Of course, IndyCar getting back on the racetrack next week as well. Road America, folks. Busy week next week here with the show, so come and join us. I'm Stephen McCollum. See you next week. Enjoy the racing week.